tie on the cat, strap it to the camera.
Oh, now it says live in 5 minutes. It was said 4 minutes a minute ago. What's up with that?
Would you push? Stop pushing buttons, or push all the buttons, one or the other. Hands on or hands off.
Well, it doesn't matter. We're actually live. We can start it anytime we want.
Do everybody have?
But who's leading?
You have your drink?
I have mine. So who's leading this? Who's leading this game? Or this?
Well,
You're in charge, right?
he's been mentioning he wanted to pawn it off on other people too. So,
Other people, like being one of you two.
What do you mean, you people? What we're gonna have to do, because
Hey, Jim.
the stuff you've been pulling up that you want to talk about tonight is pretty heavy, and she's actually got a lot of opinions on it. So, anything we miss this time, we'll hit up next time.
Well, I think those were suggested for other episodes, not necessarily tonight.
Oh,
right.
okay.
We were going to concentrate on conventions.
Yeah, I was just like, man, we're gonna hit some hard stuff tonight.
Topics for future episodes that would take us hours.
Yeah. I
So
mean, I would
cool.
love to, I mean, if you wanted to do a super special, we just stuff it all into one. That's a thing. But yeah,
So tonight we're talking about conventions we're missing, and conventions that we don't have to miss because they're online, and we should start any.
So we should probably get started officially. Hello, this is Texas Steampunk Connection. Rebooted episode 2. We are coming at you from various parts of Texas today because I find myself in West Texas, and I need to report that it is still West.
And I'm still here
So
in
how's
Austin.
everybody else doing?
Shout
And
out to
apparently-
Austin.
and it very rarely, but apparently I'm east of everybody this evening. So
Just barely. You're practically in the ghost town.
I know, right? I sneeze, I can end up there upside down in my car.
Yeah,
Oh.
but
Okay,
they are reopening with social distancing rules.
let me wish
What's that?
everyone happy International Steampunk Day, which apparently was yesterday.
Yeah.
It was, and
Yep.
it was also International Bourbon Day, which I don't think is a coincidence.
It can't be. There has to be a correlation.
Someone had to sit there going, "This would be a great day," because there is an International Rum Day. I looked it up. There's a Pirate Day, but not a
Oh,
Rum
yeah?
Day.
Right, yes. No rum day. There should be a rum day.
There's a lot of internet
is that?
points right there. A lot of
Puppies.
internet points right there. That's gonna be our picture for the front end of this. There's gonna be dogs wearing our hats. I'll edit it.
Dogs wearing hats.
So I wanted to look up what the heck is International Steampunk Day and why is it yesterday? And according to the Steampunk Symposium website, around the world today is considered to be, they're writing yesterday, International Steampunk Day, but why June 14th? It turns out, and I'm cutting through a lot of text here, that on June 14th in 1822, Charles Babbage proposed the use of such a machine, such a difference machine, to do calculations and calculate tables, and he suggested using it for the Royal Astronomical Society in a paper that he submitted there. He entitled it "Note on the Application of Machinery to the Computation of Astronomical and Mathematical Tables," which apparently are a complete PTA, PIT, whatever it is, they're a pain to make.
Yes.
So this machine used decimal number systems that was powered by a cranking handle. So it was not binary, it was base 10. And the British government
Wow.
was interested,
Oh, yeah.
and they threw 1,700 pounds at him to start the project. Apparently, this machine was a lot more difficult to make than he expected, and the government kept funding it to the tune of ultimately 17,000 pounds before they said, "You know what? This is crazy. You're fired."
I mean,
the Steampunk Symposium website will give you a little more detail about the difference engine, and then later his analytical engine and that sort of thing. But that's why apparently International Steampunk Day is yesterday.
oh, okay. So they're basing it off the difference engine, which is actually pretty cool. There's a couple books written about like the difference engine being the name for steampunk books. We've had
That
a
was,
couple of
Yep.
them.
William
And the difference engine.
William Gibson novel, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
kind of how
And
everything.
difference engine is brought up in a lot of books as well.
Yes.
It's a
We just cut
calculator.
each other off. Boy, we're professionals.
This difference engine was the size of a barn,
Oh,
which doesn't surprise me.
so it was like the equivalent of an old IBM computer.
Yeah, like the computers they use to get to the moon.
Yep. Hey, we got to the moon,
Another big story.
and then we shrank it.
Right.
Now we use calculators.
So you mentioned it was bourbon, also International Bourbon Day as well yesterday.
Yes, it
And
was.
As we started the last show, we started saying what we're drinking for today. I found out here in West Texas, I went to the local HEB, and boy, it was difficult for me to find something I wanted because it was just IPA after IPA.
Really? Because usually it's
After
just
IPA,
nothing but like cheap beer after cheap beer after cheap beer in that area.
There was a lot of that too. There was a
Okay.
lot of cheap beers, even like single bottle sales, everything. But I found one that looked interesting enough. It's called Petrus Cherry Nitro Chocolate Quad.
You're gonna like
That's
that.
right down your alley.
Yeah, you're gonna like that.
It's definitely. I was about to give up too, and I looked up, and there it was. Like, oh, I had it was a 4-pack. I drank a little bit. I'm drinking of it right now. It is. You can taste the cherry. It is very cherry. There's a lot of cherry in this.
Sour? Is it a sour beer?
Not sour, just cherry flavor. But for saying chocolate quad, I would expect more chocolate
Mm.
than cherry.
For some reason, chocolate does not come across in beer well.
Or I think a friend of mine, like Rockness, had a chocolate stout one time, and it tasted like vanilla. Actually, according to a friend of mine.
Flavia and I can point you to a chocolate stout that you might find passing.
I would be interested.
Sam Smith's chocolate stout.
Okay.
Flavia,
Yeah.
you remember that?
That's very good.
That is very
I do.
good.
Mhm.
I will
No, we're
have
not
to look
drinking
that
that
up.
tonight.
What are you drinking, Jack?
I am drinking a little bit of this Cayman Reef Premium Horchata Cream Liqueur.
Ooh.
Horchata.
If you like horchata and you also happen to like, oh, what the hell, what's the Bailey's Irish Cream, this is like the awesome mixture. It is so worth it. So,
There's rum in that too, right?
oh yeah, what are they using? It is uniquely
there rum in that?
crafted. Yada yada yada. Think it is. Yep,
No.
Cayman Reef rum.
Yeah,
So
I think
it
I've
is-
had some of that. It was very sweet, very very sweet. If I
It's
remember.
very sweet. I recommend mixing it in coffee. It's the best way to drink it. Or if you're just, I also sip Bailey's out of a shot glass. I'm weird that way.
And you,
Like one of the first
about you,
alcohols
Thax? What
I
are you
ever
drinking?
had. I'm sitting here with my best friend. We're going, "Ooh, this tastes so good," and they're like, "You're supposed to shoot it. Why would I waste this thing that tastes better than ice cream?"
Erica brought over a bottle of the Sam Smith's organic chocolate stout. I am not drinking this right now, but that's what that looks like.
That's good stuff. That is really good stuff.
That's nice. Have that in the fridge outside.
They have it
Nice.
at Costco.
It's at Costco.
I'll have to
But
go- I have to go over there.
tonight I have made myself an old
10
fashioned,
crates of it.
not knowing that it is the day after International Whiskey Day, but bourbon, excuse me. And I made it with my favorite Darby's Reserve rye whiskey. Rye whiskeys are often very bitey, very harsh, and I like this one because I find it much smoother, easier to drink, and it's not too expensive because I'm Poe. But I do recommend. So that's what I'm drinking tonight.
Nice.
Cheers.
and there's an orange slice in it. You said, right?
Oh yeah, because it's no fashion.
Yes,
Got to wear.
So it's
Got to keep
fancy.
off the scurvy somehow.
that's right. Oh man. So on today's topic, we're gonna be talking about conventions, past, present, future, and stuff like that. Mostly past and future because there's not a whole lot going on presently.
Cancellation 2020. Everyone needs to join that group on Facebook.
I guess we'll start with that. Zach, what's that?
Basically, it's a whole bunch of people who made a Facebook group, and they're considering it to be an ongoing 2020 convention throughout the year. And everyone's like posting pictures of their costumes or posting pictures of like tags they're making for the cancellation 2020. It's like, I got my ticket, or I got my panel pass, or and people are like musician, for it, and making t-shirt. It's funny. It's going nuts. It's this cancellation 2020 being this massive fun convention online that everyone's doing. And there's actually been a couple of these posting on their website too, or on their Facebook page too. So people are podcasting. So I may actually just throw this over there later after we're done here.
And that's a general fandom con, right? If you're not just steampunk, but anime and gaming and movies and all the stuff. Jim Trent just brought it up, and yes, virtual steampunk.
Yeah, virtual steampunk.
Is very similar. Yeah. For those of you who are into steampunk, I think that's pretty much all of you. I definitely recommend.
I would hope so.
It's the same sort of virtual pretend we're at a convention, but everybody posts their con getup, and the vendors are out there, and they've got live music streamers. I think Frenchie and the Punk did a stream.
Yes, I was about to mention them.
Got put into virtual SteamCon. So it's really a good resource. Everybody seems to be gathering around that as the lockdown steampunk place to be, if you will.
Yeah. So if you know of a vendor who's lost revenue because they haven't been able to go to cons, hook them up. Let them know about this virtual steampunk. They can put their links on there, and maybe they'll get some business, kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Steampunk November, one of our favorite cons in Texas, practically the only con in Texas right now.
At this point, it's the only.
I'm hoping they're going to go live this year.
Yeah, they have till November to figure it out, or sooner. Hopefully, they'll have a definite yes or no. But speaking of cons in Texas, we've had a few in the past. Most have only lasted once. didn't go much further. Mm-hmm. One of the first ones I ever went to was in Austin. I forgot what it was called though. What was that one we went to in Austin?
That was Clockwork Con.
Clockwork Con. Okay.
Yeah,
that's where we first discovered Steam. That's where we first discovered Steam Powered Giraffe. That I really like.
Yeah, we ran into him at the one in the air, the airplane bay.
Right. Yep, we went to that one too. That was pretty good. That was a good show. Yes.
But
we discovered Steam Powered Giraffe here in Austin. Then we went there. Sorry, go ahead.
I wanted to reminisce about Clockwork Con for just a little bit. My understanding was it was organized by some dude who wasn't even in Austin. He was doing work or going to school in West Texas or something, but decided Austin was a very central location to have this convention, which is crazy. Nobody puts a convention in Austin because it costs too much.
It is expensive in Austin. Yes.
Expensive. But he did it and brought in these big name bands, and it was fantastic. It was amazing. It really set my expectations a little too high for any conventions I went to after that for steampunk. and
I agree.
By the next year, he'd like moved in with his girlfriend, and they both moved to Houston so she could go to college. And this was sort of left behind.
It never happened again. Yeah. But that was a good con for a first time for me for going to the first steampunk con, because I've been to other conventions for other reasons, like the comic book conventions and stuff like that. This is my first steampunk one. It was pretty well done. I'm thinking there's also one we went to San Antonio that was in that hotel downtown that had
right. That was Etherfest.
And it was in the Roosevelt Hotel, right?
Yeah. What's the name of the dude who did that?
Yeah, that one was. I mean, it was kind of small. I mean, it was really small. They had vendors. They didn't have anything too huge, like no bands or anything like that. But it was interesting. Is that the same one that was at the? Well, there was two of them in San Antonio. Was that the only one?
2 years in a row. They did it 2 years in a row. So yes, Etherfest.
That's right.
One, I think was in an outdoor sort of garden grotto place.
That one had bands. I remember that one had some bands there, right? They were pretty good.
It was
Some of
mostly
them.
bands. We got the VIP tickets, which apparently didn't
I
amount
don't
to
remember what we got for that.
nothing. We got nothing
We
for
were
it.
talking about something else. That was Dorian Gray's ball.
What? Really?
Yeah,
That
Oh.
was Dorian Gray's ball.
and that was
Yes, you're
organized
right.
by Pablo,
Yeah,
Right.
Pablo.
Pablo.
Yeah.
what's
But
his name?
He
But that wasn't the.
organized
That,
Did he?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
he was the mover and shaker in San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure Pablo
San Antonio Neo-Victorian Association.
basically did Etherfest and his crew.
Yeah.
Erica's right.
Etherfest was really small.
It was still 2 years. in a
But what I
row.
liked about Etherfest, was the hotel it was in. They had a bunch of stuff from Theodore Roosevelt, which is like, you know, we're the Roosevelt. Well, we were the Roosevelt Adventuring Society at one point, so that was like home base for us. You know, they had like a display of all this, like his guns and stuff like that.
It was a beautiful hotel, and it was just a great place for photography.
It was a perfect
Yeah.
location. Apparently, Jim knows it all. Hey, Jim, St. Anthony was here too. That wasn't the hotel though, St. Anthony.
No, yeah,
Did we go
the
to?
San Anthony Hotel.
Yeah.
Okay,
Which is where Roosevelt stayed, which is why we're
right.
getting
That's
confused.
fine.
And Jim
He
says,
said they
yes,
did
that's
three. I only remember this. Those are the only two I remember though. I don't remember the third one. What was that one? Okay, Jack. I know you're upset. You don't have to growl.
It wasn't me.
Um,
That's over here, right up there.
Oh,
that's me.
okay. So you're growling. So yeah, Jim. What was the third one?
Erica mentioned it. The Dorian Gray's ball.
Yeah, that
which
was
the-
one. And there was the one at the St. Anthony's. What was the
and
other one?
Etherfest was 2 years in a row.
Etherfest. Okay.
And I don't think it was at the St. Anthony the second.
I don't remember going to.
Oh,
Yeah, I
so
don't remember going to
was it
St. Anthony. I remember going to the Roosevelt.
Pablo Vasquez.
The Menger. The Menger. That's the one I remember. That one and the Dorian Gray one. I don't remember the other one. I don't think we went to that one.
Unfortunately, I missed
I
most of
don't-
the ones, or a lot of the ones you're talking about right now, so I don't have a whole lot of input on it.
Yeah, there's small. Where have you been? Where have you been
I
recently?
was over.
Which
I
ones have
was
you been
actually
to?
in Midland, Texas, where a lot of these were going on, having my first child. So it was kind of one of those things. If I had,
Well,
to
no, I'm not saying.
compare-
I'm saying what cons have you been to?
Oh,
It's not where you've been, but where have you
Oh.
been?
where have I?
Yeah,
been?
man, where were you?
Oh my god! I know. Actually, person in chat was the one that was pulling me around, going, "Why are you at all these things?" I'm like, I want to be, but let's see.
Remember when you said your wife
Wild
went to?
West
Did you
Con.
go to Wild West?
Yeah, we went to
Yeah,
Wild
I
West
want to go
Con,
to
like,
that one someday.
2, 3, 5, I think, and then we've kind of missed a couple of them now. Oh hell, I am not the person to ask. A lot of Infinicon, and
What's
I
that
have-
one? What's Infinite
that's the
Con?
one in Dallas. It's a good one. It's a all kind of thing con technically.
Okay.
The steampunk contingent, it would be mostly the people that are here at the moment, or usually here. A couple people in San Antonio, our good friend Arco Bancroft and Jesse also come up for it fairly often. We've done, if you actually go to the our Steamchest YouTube channel and watch the little video we have up, the Ether, I think it was the Ether engine or something like that. It was all shot within a 10-hour period and then edited for like months afterwards to make it actually do something as a video, because it was supposed to be like,
Okay.
everyone was like, let's take some vignettes and do some fun stuff because we have a friend who knows how to do After Effects now. Well, it turned into not just let's just do little vignettes. It turned into like a whole little storyline, and then it's bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it's like, oh yeah, this would be great. And then I get to sit down with all the data. Like, this is horrible.
It's like, what did we just do?
What have I done? But I edited it into something that was actually pretty cool, and with very little. I didn't get it. I sent it to the After Effects guy. He never got me. He made some stuff out of it, but he never gave me that shots. He gave me the raw stuff back. So I'm just like, but I wanted the stuff that you've messed with, so I don't have to figure it out. But it was fun. It was fun. I turned 10 hours of video into about 15 minutes, and then I turned another 15 minutes into 2.5 minutes of something that makes more sense.
Wow,
But it's fun.
that's a lot of cutting down.
Yeah,
That's a lot of work.
So if anyone's interested, you can go to the Steamchest website or and go to their YouTube link, and you can click on that. It was fun, but that was shot at Alcon, and Alcon's actually pretty cool. We need more steampunk people there. We have usually a pretty good contingent that show up. There's usually a evening where we do a what do you call it, role play, and I'm usually involved in that, and it's always been fantastic. We're usually either the most enjoyed part of the evening outside of the concert, and sometimes better than the concert, or the one year that we didn't do so well. This wasn't Alcon, it was the other one that Alcon bought out, and then I don't think they do this one anymore, but they had a big Harry Potter event go on, and that was more entertaining than anything else going on, because they had classes you could go into, and it's like it's against the dark arts, and then so the evening, so you really were involved in that one a lot, and a lot of people were rolling in and out of that panel room a lot, doing the panels and whatnot. The first evening they had something going on there was the hat sorting, and everyone in our convention was like, "Oh my god, we're gonna do the hat sorting!" And everyone ran out of the panel rooms. There's just this stampede towards the end of the hall, and all the panelists were like, "What's going on down there?" But even the steampunk people were like bouncing in and out between those two with our stuff, so it was fun.
Okay, yeah. Jim just reminded us the Corrupted Cog happened in Austin that one year.
Yes,
downtown. That was really small.
Well, that was the same guys who were doing that. What was the name of
Fest.
what? That's right, Weird West Fest in Giddings.
Oh yeah, and Giddings, which we went like 2 or 3 years in a row.
I haven't even heard of that one.
2 years in a row, and then they tried to do the Corrupted Cog here in Austin, and it just crashed and burned.
I'd go to Giddings for it.
Yeah.
Well, you're halfway there.
Yeah, it was a fun little con. I mean, it was a little tiny con in Giddings, and it was really well done.
It was at the train station.
Yeah.
And it was really, really cool. I enjoyed it immensely, for how limited it was. I did not stay. I don't think any of us stayed for the evening live music at the Peanut Factory, which is just
which was across the street. Yeah,
An empty barn.
An empty, rotting barn across the street from where the con was. I was afraid it was going to fall in on us while we were in there. I mean, not really.
They had like no chairs or seating anywhere when you looked in, right?
Yeah, no.
It was like an afterthought.
I guess. I don't know. It was fun anyway. I had a great time. I wish they were still doing something like that. I could definitely put my efforts into supporting somebody else doing a convention again. But
yeah, almost forgot about that little one in Giddings. Those are. Then we went to there's that other one that happened down in Killeen that we went to. Well, the second year, I went the first year where it was actually going to be a steampunk convention, and I had Agent Bluestocking from the Dollhouse the Dollhouse podcast. She was on it with me. We recorded there live on site, and it was just like a Ren fair, but it was steampunk. They had it in the outside in the park, and they had it inside in the big building they have, and it was really spread out. So I think it was smaller than it looked because it was really spread out. So it looked big, but it wasn't. Because we went the next year where they combined it with the Renaissance Fair. Remember, you guys?
Yeah.
They combined it with the Ren Fair, and that really took a lot away from the steampunk area.
That was in Kerrville, and it was kind of
Kerrville. That's what I meant. But they gave us free passes because I just simply mentioned, hey, Steampunk Convention, Texas Steampunk Connection is going to be there. Say, well, tell us your names and we'll get your passes. So we got free passes.
That was super nice.
We made our own fun too, so.
Oh yeah.
We
did Wimberley.
Yeah, we're jumping ahead.
Wimberley had a few things.
The guy in the comments here will tell me. Where was the one we went to that was like between Austin and Dallas, and we did it like twice, and it was on the campus, the college campus. and that one was a fun one. I cannot remember the name of it to save my life right off the top of my head. But yeah,
That's the one that you've been.
yeah.
Well, the one it was Thax. That's the one you vend at or used to vend at.
Oh, was that
Yeah.
Geek Fest?
Geek Fest. There it is.
Geek Fest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a steampunk con,
Yeah.
but
No.
Type random.
Y'all say it's not a steampunk con, but I pretty much sat in nothing but the science one of the professor's offices or classrooms doing panels for the entire thing. So like most of these conventions,
That's all you saw.
like, it's like that's all I saw was my booth and then panel rooms. Oh yeah, it was also in Killeen. That was right.
the con experience is much different when you're working the whole time.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I'm actually looking forward to not working one here soon. I'm actually considering maybe this November not working one, and just do advertising. And I'm tired of having to deal with all that goes on with tables and hauling product and worrying about selling product. But
Getting up in the morning,
Yeah.
staying sober all day.
What?
Yeah.
but
I mean,
the good thing is that having a place to crash on site with all your junk that you don't have to like heap on your friends. Like, hey, can you put this behind your table? But
Right.
we just drove home.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
An hour away.
Well, yeah, because Killeen's really close. However, we did have a table at Steampunk November 2 years ago, and yeah, it wasn't as fun as actually just being an attendee there. And unfortunately, we were talking. There was a guy with a knife shop right next to us, and he offered to give us space at his booth the year after, but we didn't go that year, so unfortunately, we lost that opportunity.
yeah,
that was this last year, and we'd really run out of steam for this this podcast project. So it's great that we're picking this back up again, but we didn't have anything to present.
No, we didn't. What was that?
Okay, let's hit a couple other things. Jim mentions the Nightmare Machine. Jack, did you ever go to that?
I don't know that one.
no, I never heard of that. What is this?
I don't know. I was hoping you did. Steampunk Invasion, that was in Dallas.
That was his con too. That was one of the best ones we've been to. So, the one-off con. Gotta love the one-off cons. They're some of the best ones.
Right. Yeah, I don't know the Nightmare Machine either. I did specifically go to Seattle. I think I mentioned this before. I went to Seattle for a Steampunk Symposium, and that was a blast. It was in their convention center downtown, and it was fun. They had everything. They had of course they had the vendors. They had panels. I went to several panels. They were pretty fun. At the night they had a ball. Then they had. Well, they also at the same time they had a burlesque show. I went to the burlesque show, not the ball, and I got to tell you, it was a really good burlesque show. So that'd be another. I think we mentioned that was one of the topics you mentioned we might talk about later is burlesque and steampunk, but this one was a really good one. But the thing is, I went and visited a friend there that I met at another con that we went to in Las Vegas, which was an awesome con as well.
And it was a one-off too.
Yeah.
And it was also a one-off. But one thing I got to mention though is like all these cons, if I were by myself, sadly, I would have been bored out of my skull. I only had a good time because I went with friends and had friends there.
Yes. Another reason I usually get a table is because all my friends are vendors most of the time anyway, and so we all like get in on one table and we split it like 3 to 4 ways, and where we hang out most of the time anyway is at our table. So
yeah. So, unfortunately, so it's always good to make friends. I mean, when we were in Las Vegas, we made a lot of friends in Vegas. We just got a group together and we all clicked and we had a blast. Not even definitely at the con itself, but like outside the con in Vegas, running up and down the strip.
We all went down to what was the name of that
bar? Fremont Street.
With the big light show over it. Yeah, we went down Fremont Street and we all got roaring drunk.
Yes.
And that is a bonding experience. Roaring drunk and been hunting for our lost members who have wandered away.
That
Not
La
knowing-
Belle.
I get that. We had kind of the same experience when we went to the Alien Con Steampunk mixed group over in New Mexico. I can't remember the name of the town. The little alien town. Yeah, that one.
Roswell?
Yeah, Roswell. They have like
Roswell?
Alien
Yeah.
Fest, which is a
Roswell.
family event. But then the people we knew there, they were running their steampunk event at the same time, so they were being able to like
Oh,
gather
cool.
people from both groups, and they had it in an old, I was like a renovating mall. So like they had none of the Macy's signs or none of the signs. It was like they just got it built, but no one had like invested any money in this thing yet. So our panel rooms were literally like where the Foot Locker was going to be, and like the big room
wow.
where the like the sales room was in one of the big giant like J.C. Penney's areas. But like none of the signage was up. You didn't know which one of these places were going to go anywhere. It was really pretty cool. They were doing a radio station, kind of like how to do podcasting and video editing and all that kind of stuff. And like the guy pulled out his microphone, and what kind of sold me on the microphone that I bought was his, because you couldn't hear it, but he was able to record things in like 4 or 5 other rooms that were going on, and the room was like dead quiet. But his microphone was able to pick up stuff going through the walls. I'm like, well, I guess this is a pretty decent one then. But
Maybe a little bit too sensitive.
yeah, we were messing with all the settings on. That was max settings.
Okay.
But it was really fun because they used to do a radio show, and so it was kind of him showing off a little bit. It was a dying mall. Okay, so they had already sold off all their stuff. It was an interesting convention to go to. It was fun.
I also went to Dragon Con a couple of years ago. They have a steampunk track. There wasn't really much during the day for steampunk, but they had a steampunk ball, and that was pretty cool. The steampunk ball is run by these. There's a podcast called. My mind just went blank on me. I can't believe I forgot the name of that podcast. I listen to it all the time too. Let me look it up here real quick.
Cabaret. Yes, Erica.
Yeah, Clockwork Cabaret. Yeah.
Clockwork Cabaret.
Yes, they DJ it, and it's pretty good. Lately, I still listen to them. They're not doing a whole lot of steampunk per se. They kind of drifted away, but they still drift back into steampunk. Their music is just basically very eclectic, you can say. So that's steampunk-ish. But like they say, we always had the argument, what's steampunk music? It's like, well, if a steampunk likes it, it's steampunk music. There you go.
Pretty much. Like everyone's like, does it have to be talking about old stuff, or does it have to sound old schooly? I'm like, no, that's just bonus points. Like,
yeah.
Like,
they have to wear hats.
Yeah,
I mean, technically, the Cog is Dead is considered steampunk, and like they hardly sound like a steampunk band, but everyone loves them. So
right.
Yeah, like,
I don't know what
I love
should sound like.
Well,
it's just everything.
Yeah,
that's a whole other topic for show.
It is true, and it all depends on like what flavor of music you like, and then do you want your lyrics to go with what's going on? It's one reason. Like, today is not my day for my brain, but one reason like the airship pirate music got really popular because they were singing about things you would do as an airship pirate, and it was really gritty and gory.
Like Abney Park.
Yeah, Abney Park.
They do that, right?
Exactly. That's the reason they got so popular about it. Is because the songs they were singing were about the world in which they were in. So I give bonuses if you give me a song that immediately sticks me in a situation that makes me feel steampunk. I believe that's more steampunk than a song that was written in a time period using time period pieces, but has nothing to do with what I was doing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like Steam Powered Giraffe, they're all original for the most part, but they sound, all their songs sound different. Well, they sound, I don't know.
They have
like
more
the first album. I know the first album really well
because they're big in Japan, but
right.
Like in some of their songs like Fire, it's a song about guys stuck on a space station as they all burn or freeze to death. Not exactly steampunk, but I love that song. But they also
I don't know that one.
But if you have to listen to the lyrics. It's hilarious because you don't really pay attention. You're paying attention, just kind of like slowly clicks. And like, why am I like liking this thing to the? Oh my, But some of their other songs are good, but what really brings them into being steampunk is their acting or their ability being on stage and just hashing out the automaton thing. So they can do anything they want,
Right?
as doing the automaton thing, and it works out.
They
real
stay
well.
in character.
Yeah.
They stay in character off stage too.
Oh yes.
Fax knows that for sure.
The only time they're not in character is when like the Spine is running around as Rex Markley. It makes
Right
Rex
when he's
Markley.
not in costume.
Yeah, he's in his other costume. And
but I was like, the Steampunk Cabaret, they like Tom Waits a lot. So apparently Tom Waits is steampunk.
Well, you remember Mystery Men?
yes.
Yep.
That awesome diesel punk machine that he's driving around in. He's perfect. He's perfect.
Yeah.
Jack, you mentioned going to Wild West Con,
Yes.
and
That's
that's
in
a con
Arizona,
we've never
right?
been to.
So
Tell us more about that.
oh man, okay.
Wait, is that
so
in New Mexico or Arizona?
That's the one in Arizona. So
Arizona, okay.
yeah, the one in there. Okay, so Wild Wild West Con. It is. They have completely they've rebuilt this town a couple of times, but it's a whole bunch of replica buildings and old ones they've moved from other old 1800s oil, gold, and just like railroad towns that were mobile, and they built this basically a township out of it, and they've kept it up. And like different movies that these scenes were in, they have plaques on the building saying this scene was in this and this and this. And so it's basically a big production lot for West movies. A lot of Wild Wild West movies were shot there and have been or still produced there. They won't always shoot a whole movie in one of these towns, but they'll shoot segments of. Okay. And so, like, I know we were watching the one on HBO right now, the kind of Wild West machine. I can't come up with the words. Say, but can't come up with the name. But one of their old movies. Huh?
Westworld?
Yes, Westworld. There was a scene where one of the buildings they were in, I'm like, I've sat in that chair. So
oh, that's
yeah, so it's kind of one of those things you'll notice it in a lot of movies as you're watching, going, why does that give me deja vu? And then you'll look it up and like, oh, that was shot there. It was one of the filmed in location spots. And so it's really cool.
I've been wanting to go to that one. And like I said, I was set up. I had the tickets, but then my travel partner backed out on me. So if you want to go back, let me know. I'll go.
I'm after all this stuff going on, I would love to go back. They'll have panels in like the chapel and the bar. They'll have movies playing that are steampunk oriented. A lot of or like the amateur films, and they also have big they have music, lots and lots of music. Actually, if you watch some of the Steam Powered Giraffe live videos on their YouTube channel, there's a whole big crowd of people sitting at their feet. That's actually shot there in Wild Wild West Con. And
cool.
Unfortunately, you only see my hat in one of those shots for about a brief second because I was sitting under one of the other cameras. So you never actually got to see us. But Lex and I were there sitting under one of the cameras, basically. And so
that's funny.
I was there, but all my other friends are there. You can see them at one point or another, but you can never see. I was like, I can't be on TV to save my life. But,
you'll get your 5 minutes of fame sometime.
I mean, I've been trying to do that with my other channels too. I'm just like, one day I'll be popular, I swear. But not that I care.
What else have we been to? Well, there was one time the Houston group was trying to get some stuff going together. We went to that one museum, for the prison museum, one time.
That wasn't really a convention. It was just sort of an outing.
It wasn't really, but it was a gathering. It was an outing, but it could have been fun, except they kind of didn't recognize us or didn't acknowledge us there, or they showed up late. It just didn't work out so well.
They said they would, so we're the only ones walking around the prison museum
which is kind of cool.
And then finally, a few people trickled in and then totally ignored us. Not that I'm bitter.
No, what happens is if you're in costume and you're one of those old prisons like that, and people start wandering in that aren't dressed up, you can just like, just completely go into the part of like leading them through there and like doing tours,
Making stuff up. This is the chair where such and such sat in.
Yep.
Billy the Kid was here.
I was
breathed on this once.
doing everything myself.
My great granddaddy ran this place.
There's also a convention in Missouri that we've wanted to go to.
Is that the one on the steamboat?
Oh yeah. Yep, I think so.
Yeah. Big River Steampunk Convention.
Yes. That one on the riverboat. That would be fun. Convention.
It takes like a plane ride and like a 2-3 hour drive or something. It's like a weird way to get there. You can't just get there.
Yeah, the problem with us getting there is getting there. You can't fly in. Yeah. It's not near an airport.
What do you expect? It's Missouri/Louisiana. If you're not taking like 3 different forms of transportation to get anywhere, then there's no reason to go. Unless it's like Bourbon Street. So even then, you still have to use like 3 forms.
So we gotta take the stagecoach, followed by take the train to the stagecoach to the.
I get the airplane to the rental car to the airboat to the wagon to the guy named Earl with the donkey, and then we get on the boat. So you're just like sitting there shedding gear as you're going. Like, this is not worth carrying anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, eventually we want to go to that one too.
That would be fun. I know some people who actually run that one, and they've been.
Oh, cool! That's helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, the photos look terrific. But we can't go to those because we're in lockdown.
Yep.
Yay.
Yes, we're on lockdown.
And being virtually on a steamboat, playing poker virtually just does not work for me.
No.
I can't do my Maverick bid if I'm not there.
We did go to New Orleans and took a steamboat with the local steampunk community. Flavio, you didn't make it, I don't think.
I missed that one. Yeah, I missed it.
It was in June. It was so humid. It was like swimming through soup. But we met the local group, and they were awesome. And posted a few videos of the ship, the boat, and stuff.
I remember that.
And that was a lot of fun. And they had a great brunch. That's what's most important.
Hey, food's important.
This also wasn't this wasn't a convention but it was a bon voyage party for the Steampunk cruise that we went to. And we went to the party, but we didn't go on the cruise.
Oh, okay.
Well, I didn't go on the cruise.
No.
I saw those were happening. I'm like, man, that'd be fun. But I mean,
but Thax did go on. You did go on one of the cruises though, right? Or 2?
We went on the Steampunk cruise the year after. I highly recommend it if you can afford it. Of course, not now.
It's like a convention. It's like a convention on water, right?
But I don't know how a steampunk convention on a cruise would be. So explain. Give us a little more.
So my experience is going to be different than previous groups who went, because by the time we went, it was a very small group. It wasn't a convention on the ship anymore. It was a small group of friends, all making reservations together to go on the ship and kind of hang out and dress up and have a good time.
But there were enough of us that they gave us a dedicated meeting room.
Hey.
We did have a little tiny room up at the top, the very top level. And so we got to like do arts and crafts and whatever we wanted to do up there, which was a lot of fun. But mostly it is an awesome opportunity to meet folks who are into what you're into that are super excited
All
about
over.
being from all across the country. I met steampunks from Alaska and LA and New York. I met Santa Claus.
Canada.
Oh,
We
Canada.
always get our girlfriend
My girlfriend that lives in Canada.
Nice. Yeah, you do meet some
Yeah, 'cause
interesting
I'm-
people on cruises in general, but like if you're rolling around going, I'm going to be eccentric on a cruise, it's a little different even.
Well, because I mean, the last cruise I went on, I think I took my steampunk gear and we just walked around in our steampunk gear for whatever for dinner and whatnot. Just because.
They told me I had to wear a jacket to dinner. They didn't tell me exactly how the jacket should look.
Right. You know, I mean, I just felt like
we dressed up like pirates one night.
yeah.
Dress up
So
like a pirate.
you can do whatever you want. You're a paying customer. I mean, as long as you're not
Yeah.
pulling out any body parts that shouldn't be seen.
Right. They just don't want you in shorts and flip flops for the most part.
Unless you're
Yeah.
like
For
European,
dinner.
then they'll actually tell you don't go on the top deck between this time and this time because it's nude baiting.
You know, cruise ships aren't what they used to be. They don't have the nude deck anymore.
Oh,
There's no nude deck. There's no cigar bar. There's no shuffleboard.
Positively
What?
plebeian.
no shuffleboard. Why would you
There's no
remove shuffle?
cigar smoking shuffleboard anymore.
Yeah, the cigar lounge just went away, right?
Yeah, those two.
Yeah. And that was a place to go after supper
Mhm.
to just
Yeah.
hang out with your friends and inhale bad atmosphere.
Talk to older men who have been around.
Yeah,
One of the-
yeah. You can meet
Yeah.
some like old timers who have gone on 100 cruises and have so many tales to tell.
My grandfather was one of those. I was lucky that he took me on a couple, so got some funny stories from those too. When we were down in Central America, I almost got to sell my sister.
Did you say sell your sister?
Sell my sister. A guy offered. We didn't take him up on it. We got back on the boat. I was like 16. She was 13. So we were like, we have no idea what we're doing. Let's get back to the boat.
This is scary.
Like, see those guys with
Wow.
M16s
That
over
could've
there? We're going to go over there.
Wow. Yeah.
But that was worst case. Worst case.
We had a Belizean Rasta man ask Erica if she was married and if she wanted a new husband.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that.
Also, he was a doctor.
Of course.
If you need any help, if you need any medicine, he was willing to help you out.
Well. Yeah.
The doctor's wife.
My
Well,
brother, he didn't go on a cruise.
Yeah,
but he-
continues. I might have the dreadlocks for it.
I know we're off topic, but I'm gonna go over this because we're talking about boats, and you know we're quickly getting into some really creepy stuff. So this is gonna fit really well. But my brother was in
of course.
his high adventure teams. He was 18, and his basically it's a Boy Scout troop, but a high adventure team, and they rented out a schooner, and they had a pilot and his first mate, and they decided to go and they go through the Caribbean on it for like a month, and during their time they were parked for a moment, and they were basically jumping off the main mast into the water. But if you waited for the mast to fling you, you could go like a couple 100 feet off the boat. Well, it started getting wet right around the mast, and so my brother slipped, and his big toe went like this with the mast and split it all the way back. Well, they got him quickly to one of the islands, and they found the doctor, and he was this young German guy. Well, funny enough, he's like, I can't do the surgery to repair your foot, but my father can. And this old German guy comes out, and he's just like, his arms wiggle like this with the needle, and then he like takes a breath, and then does one so, and then he starts shaking.
Oh my God!
Again. Well, as he's doing this, my brother's asking questions because he's, they don't actually have. They're pouring like alcohol on his foot to keep it, because there was no anesthesia at this point. They literally had to dump him in a fish wagon full of ice to get him to the doctor from the boat. It's a whole terrible thing. He was a SS field surgeon from World War II.
I was wondering what an old German guy was doing in the Caribbean.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my brother's claim to fame right there.
From the International Tribunal.
Yes.
Well, I don't think he was important.
Wow.
I just think he happened to be a field doctor. But he has like no sign that this ever happened on his foot. So it was pretty impressive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does he still have feeling in his toe?
Oh yeah. I don't know what that guy did, but I know
That does sound impressive.
I broke my finger last year, and I still don't have complete feeling on the top of my finger here, but I got it cut open on both sides, and just like, and my brother gets his foot, like, his thumb, his big toenail.
No, okay. I think we can change the subject now. Wow, that's getting much.
What kind of alcohol do they pour on it? That's what I want to know.
Vodka.
Well, was it Appleton rum?
No.
Appleton overproof.
Anything with sugar, and so it was just straight vodka.
Like I know Appleton rum. They have like the when we went to Appleton Rum Estates, the guy was saying, they have different types of rum, from the best to the worst, and he was like, the worst was like this stuff. It's like alcohol. You rub it on your head if you got a headache. It's medicinal kind of stuff.
Snake oil stuff.
It was like 151. It was like overproof white rum. It was not really for drinking.
No.
It was for medicine.
Ooh.
I drank a lot of it.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. I want some hot rock rum now. So I know
we are completely. We have been rattling on and on.
Okay,
I'm
so
sorry,
it just near the end. Do we want to kind of start wrapping up, or do we want to like continue a little bit and then kind of wrap up saying what we're like future topics we want to talk about? Or
Well, we got like 5 minutes left for an hour. Let's.
Yeah, we should probably do a quick, like you said, talk about what we're going to talk about in the future and start wrapping it up, kind of thing. The only thing we haven't talked about is possible future cons. And the only one I can think of is Steampunk November, and we don't know we haven't heard hide or hair when that's going to happen. Because
I've been paying attention to his Facebook, and they're still doing lots of renovations, so they're not planning on shutting down. They're probably just they're up in the air about this year. So, but if he's still making renovations and he's still like improving the bathrooms and putting in flooring and all, doing all this cool stuff, obviously planning on they can miss 1 year if they need to. That would make this will be the year to miss if they're going to miss a year, just because of what's all going on in the world.
Yeah, you could tell it's a real labor of love that he puts all of this effort to building up this site for one weekend. Yeah. But it is gorgeous. They also do a writers convention there where people can come out, and I know they usually get like Civil War guys out there. They get fencing guys, they get sword masters, weapon masters, so writers can come up and ask questions, and they do seminars on how this stuff works. So when they write books, it's more authentic. Other than the guy pulled out his pistol and pulled the triggers. No, you got to do the whole thing. It's better if you can explain. That's pretty cool. So, and I've actually been wanting to go out to one of those. And I think he does it. It's either before or after Steampunk November. I know they do like a Christmas / New Year's party too. But that's right. We didn't mention the Christmas, like Dickens on the Strand, Dickens on Main. We didn't mention those. Well, Dickens on the Strand's pretty fun. It's not necessarily steampunk, but we invaded a lot. It's somebody
Dickens.
else's event that steampunks have snuck into.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah,
works.
we
It's the right
invaded.
time period.
Dickens on Maine. Where's that again? I forgot where Dickens on Maine.
That was in Bernie, Texas.
Bernie. That was a really fun one. I really enjoyed that one. We have to go back and investigate the back alley Santa. We have to go back.
Back alley Santa.
That's
Yes, we've told this story a few times, but
All
we'll tell it again another day.
Welcome for next year and next time when we talk about back alley Santa.
No.
Steampunk After Dark.
Hey,
We're
it's a
not.
Nickelodeon, the goggles.
Okay, so we are definitely going off topic now. But I just wanted to throw in the Dickens on the Strand stuff, Dickens on the Main. Even though they're not really conventions, there are things we've gone to. We've also gone to some balloon fests, hot air balloon fests. We've gone to there and had a good time. They enjoyed it.
They actually launched a balloon.
Ooh,
That's true. We have not. But
Whether
I
it's
haven't
all
either.
and usually,
bad at the last minute and they can't launch anything.
exactly. But they always enjoyed our presence being there, dressed up.
I have never been to a place where try and put it. Even going to like Renaissance festivals, they've always been happy if you've dressed up for the event. You always get those people on the side like, "Thank you for dressing up and being involved." And I've been to like different conventions, and usually being one of those guys who helps people near the door when necessary, or become one of those people who, oh, the guy in the black hat across the way knows what you're talking about. He's the guy. You're looking for the steampunk thing. Go talk to him. And they know everything. And so there's a couple of us that have turned into that in our little group, and it's pretty nice. You show up, people expect that the Steamchest is going to be, oh well, we don't have to worry about it. Steamchest or
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I'm gonna try to hook the Texas Steampunk Connection onto that tail and follow
Okay.
along, y'all, and ride that tail. Ride that. Sorry.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Do it.
We
We're all
also,
here.
I'm glad to hear that because we have the steampunk invasions at the different Renaissance festivals around here as well. But like I remember Professor Elemental in Vegas, not Professor Elemental, sorry, but I forget his name now. My mind just went blank.
Oh.
The guy who ran the Vegas one.
Doc
Phineas.
Doc Phineas.
Oh yeah, Phineas.
Yes, he told a story about in California. He was in steampunk in a Ren fair and they didn't like him there. They tried to kick him out. But his advantage was he was also one of the royal court in that place.
Personal connection.
Oh,
That was a
there you
go.
bizarre story.
Why would
Just
you?
weird.
Yeah,
I've
it's
never
like-
had that experience.
Yeah, neither have I.
Every now and then I have people like, "What are you supposed to be?" I'm like, "I'm a freaking time traveler. Get over it." Like,
Yeah.
I'm here to steal whatever device from a different time period. It works. Like, if I take the goggles off, strap a blaster to my on my side, I work well in even a Star Wars convention. So whatever.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, it's just weird. I just never understood that story. That I don't know. But there are a lot of steampunk conventions in California, from what I've been seeing. They're happening all up and down the coast.
Yeah.
Well, they were. I don't know about now because of the shutdown.
They always have
but-
perfect weather for it too. It's annoying.
Yeah.
It's like Seattle.
Okay, so we
You
should be
wanna-
wrapping this up. What do we? We
All right, let's wrap up.
Yeah,
Let's
let's
do it.
Seattle.
We gotta start this
Although I
off.
have to admit, in Seattle, I wasn't hot, but it was so humid. I was sweating like crazy anyway. It was
Welcome to
weird.
being in Britain.
It's like I wasn't like oh, it's so hot. I was just sweating. It was crazy. But
Yeah.
but anyway, let's start wrapping it up. What should we end this with?
Let's-
Future topics.
couple future topics. Let's just kind of run over them real quick. Obviously, want to talk about like
What do you got?
future steampunk planning and making things. We've already been talking about a bunch of conventions and stuff. Here, you mentioned some of those you had in your email earlier.
Oh.
It's like he's talking to you, Thax.
That was just brainstorming.
I like
that-
them. You should mention them. I
this
think
is
it'll bring
all-
people back.
Well,
Here, let me look.
I don't even have
Let me
to
look it up here.
I got it here, but yeah.
You brought up Roswell earlier. I
Yeah.
am particularly interested in weird alien sightings and cryptid stories And there are a number of those that happened before the turn of the century that I think would be an interesting conversation for us to have. I have to do a little more research to make a presentation, but I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would like to look into that as well, because supernatural
will
stuff.
Springfield Jack be part of that? Remember, you ever heard of Springfield Jack?
Spring Heel Jack. I've heard of him.
Spring Heel Jack, yeah. He's big in that time.
And I was kind of focusing on
he's
American
England.
stuff. But
American stuff. Okay.
It doesn't matter. We could talk about anything. I also suggested perhaps serial killers.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Especially
like
American serial killers.
American serial killers. Okay. That's going to take a little bit. That's going to take a lot more research.
Yeah.
But the American Wild West was a great place to go to get away with, murdering people in the night. That could be interesting.
The evilness of the railroads and how they got away with so much crap too.
It's a lawless land. So yes.
You said sex and steampunk.
Sex and steampunk.
Yeah, that's after dark. Talking about we could talk about.
I think my mom watches this, so it's
how does sexuality and
like the burlesque, like you said,
sexy stuff fit into the steampunk community, which I generally think of as a very family-friendly, family-oriented culture.
11 p.m.
But
hits.
at the same time, there's across the internet, you do some images of steampunk, and you get sexy girls in very skimpy costumes, which I'm not faulting, but how do we do that balance? What is appropriate? How do we do all that? And burlesque is very popular with some people. I got nothing against burlesque. How does that fit into steampunk? Because I see it at steampunk conventions.
Yeah, they usually have it to the side somewhere, so it's not. You have to go.
It's a late night after dark thing, but is that steampunk? Does that fit into our steampunk culture? And it's a topic of conversation.
I understand. I look forward to that one because it's a lot deeper than just hoo hoo hee hee ha ha about it. But
there's also a lot of hoo hoo hee hee ha ha.
Well, and the thing is you also have to look at it. There's the historical bit, and then there's the fun bit of it. Then there's the hee hee bit. Then you also, like you said, you have the family. The family. There's that right there could be an entire 20, 30, 40 hour and a half talk. So.
Right.
Yeah, I look forward to that one because I think it also has something to do with
speaking like the
too.
I'm sorry,
I missed it, but Judas and Magnolia, remember them? They do the Escape Act.
Escape artist.
Yes, I think it was yesterday. They were doing like a cemetery tour through some little cemetery out there. But I'm sad I missed it though. But they come online a lot and do stuff online. So check them out if you can when they come live online. Judas and Magnolia, they were at Steampunk November. That's where I first met them. They've been on our podcast a couple of times for short periods of time. But they also do the Ren fairs. They just change up their garb. It's fun.
Yeah, they're a nice couple. They're really fun and entertaining.
Yes, they are. But they've been doing a lot of live stuff, and like I said, they did a cemetery tour recently, and they're talking about cemeteries on their page on Facebook. So if that might bleed into the supernatural. I'm not really sure because I didn't see it, but it looked interesting. I'm sorry I missed it.
Maybe we can get them on here.
Maybe eventually. Because I know they're running around because they lost a lot of their business because of the shutdown and everything. So they're probably looking for stuff to do.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we can't pay them, but I can't even pay myself for this. So
free advertising. That's all we can offer right now. I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be something. I'll try to reach out to them, see if they want to chat with us for a little while next time.
Sounds good.
But yeah, so like I said, I think it's pretty much time to wrap up. The last words I have to say is thank you very much. I have other podcasts that I produced on digitalrexfelix.com. Check them out. Jack, what do you have to say?
Thank you for joining us. If you're ever interested in looking into a Steampunk subscription service, go hit up Steamchest at chestofsteam.com and join us next week. We're going to have a lot more information and a lot more entertaining
2 weeks.
conversation. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Today.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And I would like to especially thank our commenters, Jim Trent, who has been following and helping us.
Thanks, Jim.
We can't
Thanks,
remember.
Ryan.
But also Ryan and Jenny Shaver for being here, tuning in for two episodes in a row and making comments. It's great to see y'all. And if you're watching and haven't made a comment, please do. We're still going to be paying attention. We're still going to be watching as this goes into a stream, and we'll be able to talk with you through comments. Thank you for tuning in. It's great to spend the evening with you.
Mhm.
Cheers.
All right. So once again, thanks again. Yep. Cheers. Thank you. And well, Dex threw it in last week. Last time I don't know if I cut him off or not, but there's always mind your gauges.
Mind your gauges.
Mind your gauges.
And see y'all in 2 weeks.
Are clear again. Let us sing a song of cheer again. Happy days are here again. All together, shout it now. There's no one who